And good evening, everybody, and welcome here to Richmond International Raceways. We're getting set for the running of the Circuit City 250, our fourth race of the debuting season of the NR2003 Diva Truck Series. Getting set to go racing under the lights at Richmond International Raceway after our first short track race that was really boring last week at Louisiana. We hope this race will be a little bit more better, because these drivers will have another short track coming up. That will be in 2 weeks from South Boston Speedway. Caleb Ambrosia starts on the pole position for this evening's race. Caleb Ambrosia comes this race 25th in the points. Has not been a good start to the year for her. Jayla DeRazin will start alongside of her. Jayla DeRazin comes into this race. If I can find her in the point standing, she dropped all the way down to 19th in the points, was inside the top 10 in the points, but had a terrible run last week. Hanako Watanabe in row number 2. She is 31st in the standings. And Maisie Creighton alongside of her. Creighton is third in the points. Carolina Bradley is the points leader by 2 points over Hazel Eveling. Maisie Creighton, I mentioned, third in the standings, 21 points back. She's tied with Abigail Furling, last week's winner from Louisiana. Abigail Lynn dropped all the way to 5th in the standings. 6th is Kim Patterson. Donna Ramirez is 7th. She's tied with Naomi Hudson in 8th, but the tiebreaker goes to the average finish, which is 12.6 in favor of Donna Ramirez. Claudia Flores is 9th, and Tina Turner completes the top 10. It's time to get these trucks rolling off behind the orange pace truck, and we'll get set for 60 laps of racing here at Richmond. Looks like our outside pole sitter had troubles getting off the line, but looks like that was Jayla DeRazin, but looks like she got that situated. Show you the rest of the starting grid as we come to green. There we go. "60 laps of racing should be some good short track racing, and hopefully it will be a lot carnage than our boring race at Louisiana. But it's time to go truck racing. Fourth race of the Diva Truck Series is green. Let's go racing at Richmond, ladies. Ambrosia goes to the race lead here in the Monaco Chevrolet. She'll have a new paint scheme in 2 weeks at South Boston. Hanako Watanabe for Circle Sport in second place. Claudia Flores will go to third. The inside line is the place to be. Last week at Louisiana, there was little to no passing that happened in that race. Let's hope tonight's race there will be a little bit more passing and a bit of carnage, because knowing Richmond, it's a short track. Addison Peterson, who made her debut last week at Louisiana, came home 17th. She's 38th in the points, so that's because they came in the series late. Her, Alex Winters, Emma Kaiser, Tatiana Guerra, Evan Murray, and Alexandria Sarnes all made their debut last week at Louisiana, so they're at the bottom of the points table to nobody's surprise. Watanabe trying to catch the Monaco Chevrolet for Andy Petrie Racing. And looks like, unlike last week at Louisiana, the awesome caution flag is out. I told you we were going to get some carnage here at Richmond. Looks like we got some smoke on the back straightaway. That's probably why the first yellow is out. Must have been Alexandria Sarnes who might be the reason for the yellow. Her second start, she made her debut last week. It looks like Samantha Johnson may also have been involved as well. So where is the pace truck? There's the pace truck. Everybody was waiting for the pace truck, and looks like the 33 will get back in line. So while we're under caution for the first time tonight here at Richmond, which will not be a boring race weekend, unlike last weekend in Louisiana, let's jump back, look at a replay to see what happened to Alexandria Sarnes, bring out our first caution here tonight in the Circuit City 250. And this is what happened as they come off turn number 2. Looks like even Murray in the 64, making her second start, also made her debut last week. It's in the back of Alexandria Sarnes. And sent her down into Avon's other friend. That would be Samantha Johnson, and sent the two of them around. And it looks like the 66 going to kiss the outside retaining wall just a little bit. And Diva Truck Series officials had no choice but to throw a caution. So a couple of drivers, or in the words of Sean, the Spinellas had to happen. Of course, as I said, the 57 who came into this race, and this is her second start, which Sarnes is, by the way, dead last in the points. Samantha Johnson, on the other hand, is dead last in the points of the drivers that have run every race so far. So not off to the start of the year, but aerodynamics not going to mean much here at Richmond, as that's what brought out our first caution of the evening. Let's jump back to the restart here at Richmond. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing on lap number 10 of 60. Should give us a total of 51 laps of racing here at Richmond. Calipin Bergia, currently the race leader. Hanako Watanabe is second. Claudia Flores in third. Addison Peterson fourth. Naomi Hudson fifth. Carolina Bradley is sixth. Bradley, by the way, your points leader coming in this race. Aurora Combs is seventh. Ada Chua is eighth. Hazel Evelyn ninth. And 10th is Olivia Jackson. Nobody out of the race from that incident. The two trucks that spun out have gotten their trucks repaired and returned to the race as we're getting set for the first restart of the race. So I told you we were not going to go caution free this week, unlike last week at Louisiana. Green flag back in the air. Which I, by the way, called it perfectly, so I won't get the quote, "You just jinxed it," Boyles. And if you think one caution is going to be enough for this series or this race weekend, you're kidding yourself. About to be a battle for third between Addie and Claudia Flores. I talked about Addison Peterson, who is just coming off her championship in the DRL Red Bull GT Series. She will be back for that series in Season 3. Drove the number 66 Rain-X Viper to the championship this past season in the Red Bull GT Series. And caution's out again for the second time tonight. So I told you there wasn't going to be issues. A problem for the 66 of Samantha Johnson, as she just came off of pit road, and I believe she already got put a lap down. Let's see who this ball. Oh, Sarnes again. Elena Lydia's in it. Kim Patterson, Donna Ramirez, Ruby White has gone around. Ada Chua's involved. Ivana Juni's got some damage to her truck. Who's down the bottom? That's Ava Murray. Victoria Hughes is involved. So caution's out for the second time today. So I was right. We were going to have some carnage. Let's jump back and look at a replay to see what in the world caused this second yellow of the evening. Well, here's what brought out caution number dos. Aurora Combs going to run into the back of Ada Chua. And Chua's going to hit the inside wall pretty hard, but that's not where it's going to end. The 13 is going to spear the Quaker State Ford F-Series of Maisie Creighton. Yeah, 13 carried way too much speed right in front of Ingrid Pollard and sent Maisie Creighton up into the wall. By the way, that's third in points, Maisie Creighton. And then there's the shot by the 15. Donna Ramirez got involved. That's Erin Walsh. Ruby White got a piece of it. There's Yvonne Dooney, how she got it collected in this. I think the 64. Oh, the 8 truck hit the pit wall. That's Victoria Hughes. How did she do that? Oh, I see what happened here. Hold on. Let me pause this so I don't miss the restart, just for anyone asking. This is what happens when. Let's go to helicopter view. This should be a better view. There we go. There's Ruby White, 75 got a piece, and the 52 just drove themselves into the pit wall. 88 gets a piece of it. There's where the 64 got a piece of it. That was Avon Murray. Kim Patterson, there's where the 18 got in the pit wall there. So, and I normally would like to make a pun, which is it's a girl, even though these are girls after all. But that's a tough break for Victoria Hughes. But what in the world happened to Ruby White off of turn 4 here? What on bloody earth is this? Shanti Darwish and the one truck of Abigail Lynn had to come in together. Okay, looks like she was trying to avoid Abigail Furling, and Lynn just ran the back of the IWX Chevy Silverado. Maisie Creighton had to jam on the brakes. Stephanie Liera and the 04 just missed it. That was Giovanni Wright. Who was that in the grass? That was Alex Winters in the grass for some reason. And there's where Ruby White just spins to the grass. Hi, Circuit City Logo, speaking of the race name. But my goodness, that's what brought out our second caution of the race, and it was the big one, believe it or not. So let's jump back to the restart, find out how many drivers are going to be out of this race after what we've seen so far. And we're back here at Richmond. Breaking news. Caleb Ambrosia, the race leader, has blown up. Ah, no. She was going to dominate this race and go on to a win. Looks like that's not going to happen. Not sure what Samantha Johnson is doing. That will give the lead to Hanako Watanabe as we got some lap trucks, and this is going to be a cluster restart. Flores will be second, Peterson third, Naomi Hudson fourth, Bradley fifth, Aurora comes sixth, Jayla Razen seventh, Ingrid Pollard, Olivia Jackson, and then move Hazel Eveling up into the top 10. But what a shame for Caleb Ambrosia, leading this race, and the engine goes kablamo. We'll document the drivers out of this race when we go back to green. Our first lead change, but that's a tough break for Caleb Ambrosia. Blew up coming to the restart. Not the finish she's gonna get. Out of the race after that incident. We got away with it on the first caution. Not so fortunate on this one. Olga Scott is out of the race. Kathy Rogers is out. Aaron Walsh, Ada Chua, Victoria Hughes, and now in the 88 of Kim Patterson. And the 07, Balam Kim blew a header, and the 33 of Caleb Ambrosia just blew a camshaft. So, tough break for a lot of drivers out of this race. Kim Patterson was 6th in points. Donna Ramirez, 7th. Maisie Creighton, who was involved in that incident, did continue on. She was, by the way, 3rd in the standings. Victoria Hughes, let's see where she was in points. Aaron Walsh, who's out of the race, came into this race 14th in the points. That's a driver who came in running well in points. That's not what she needed. Kathy Rogers came in this race. Victoria was 29th in the points. Not the result she wanted. Olga Scott, 30th in points. Ada Chua, who's out of the race, was 34th in the point standings, third to last of the drivers who run every race this season. So That is not the run any of those girls wanted. And like I said, some of them that were running well in points, this is going to be a massive hit for them heading into our next race in 2 weeks at South Boston. So a tough break for those ladies. Addison Peterson running in second. Sarnes is, by the way, still on the lead lap. Remember, she DNF'd last week's race. There's Naomi Hudson running in fourth. Even Murray's back here. Abigail Lynn, they had to take the hood off of her Mopar Dodge. There's Donna Ramirez. Remember, she came as race running well in points. Judy Carter, I didn't realize she was involved in that last big wreck. No hood on her Spears manufactured Chevrolet Silverado. There's Maisie Creighton in the 26, as I talked about. Shyla Askarov is back here, badly damaged. There's Tatiana Guerra, who's moving her way by Elena Lydia, who was also involved in that wreck. There's Ruby White. Looks like she didn't get any damage. Neither did Abigail Furling. Alex Winters right behind Shanti Darwish. And around goes Carolina Bradley on the back straightaway. Think off the nose of the 04. Everyone's going to scatter, and the caution's out for the third time. Was running 15th at the time of the spin. Well, that was your points leader that just got spun out. Nobody got a lap back, so there you go. Caution's out for the third time today. And let's go back and see what happened to the points leader, Carolina Bradley, as she spun out, as we're going to be past the halfway mark of tonight's race. Well, this is going to be an interesting meeting in the Smart camp after this race. Carolina Bradley gets turned around by Giovanna Wright, who, by the way, is still a part of Smart Motorsports. Spun the square E Dodge around, but Carolina Bradley does a 360, mashes the throttle, and continues on like nothing even happened. So the caution's out for the third time today. That's what brought out the yellow. Let's go to the restart here at Richmond. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here on lap number 34 of 60 as we're past the halfway mark here in tonight's race. Hanako Watanabe leads. Addison Peterson second. Claudia Flores in third. Olivia Jackson is fourth. Naomi Hudson fifth. Jayla Derez in sixth. Ruby Walker seventh. April Glover 18th. And Turner ninth. And Aurora Combs complete the top 10. Nobody out of the race after that recent incident. Carolina Bradley has put 4 fresh tires on, so she's back in the race. We have 31 drivers on the lead lap, 34 out of the 42 that's still in this race. And we go back to green here. We go back to green here at Richmond. Looks like Samantha Johnson's going to get one of her laps back should a caution come out. That would put her 1 lap down. Alexandria Sarnes is also trying to get back on the lead lap should we get another caution, which I think we should get another yellow. We've had 3 cautions so far in tonight's race, which is a change of pace than what we had at Louisiana last week. So Aniko Watanabe comes into this race as I look for her in the point standings. As I mentioned, 31st in the point standings. This 14 truck has not been to victory lane this season. Of course, in real life, Rick Crawford took this truck to victory lane at Daytona. Of course, our season opener was not at Daytona. Alexandria Sarn's about to go back a lap down. Naomi Hudson now goes to second because they have Sarns in between those two. Abigail Lynn, by the way, was fifth in points coming into this race. We talked about Carolina Bradley, who spun. She's up to 28th, was your points leader coming in this race. The gal that was trying to run her down for the points lead, Hazel Eveling, she's in 12th right now. And she came in this race second in the point standings. Maisie Creighton is 27. She was third in the point standings coming into tonight's race. Let's find out where Abigail Furling is. Where is that number 62? She is 18th. That was fourth in the points. So a couple of drivers running well in points going to really take some hits. Hanako Watanabe from Japan. Sarnes will have her best finish of the year, even though it's not going to be a good points day. I can tell you the points are really going to get shaken up again heading into next week, our next race in 2 weeks. Samantha Johnson was 36th in points of the driver, 36, which is dead last in points of the drivers that have run every race this season. Emma Kaiser having a much better race here tonight. Running in 7th, so a quiet run for Emma Kaiser, who will be in tomorrow night's Diva Bush Series race. Flores has dropped to 10th. Eva Mata is 11th. There's Hazel Eveling. Ingrid Pollard's running 13th. Alex Winter is having a quiet run in 14th. Giovanna Wright in 15th. Jessica Smith is now in 16th. Addison Peterson just took 17th from Stephanie Liera. Ruby White 19th, and Abigail Furling is running in 20th. So that is your top 20 rundown. We're inside of 10 laps of racing to go. Hanako Watanabe, Naomi Hudson trying to go for their first wins of their Diva careers. And by the way, Naomi Hudson will probably stay in the top 10 of the points leaving tonight. As we head into our next race, that will be in 2 weeks' time at South Boston. Of course, tomorrow night we have the Funai 250 for the Diva Bush Series tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we'll cap it off with the Diva Cup Series race, also from here at Richmond, for the Toyota Owners 400. And then next week, it's just Diva Cup Series as we head off to Arizona Speedway, a 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time green flag in the desert. Samantha Johnson is not going to be able to get her laps back, and she's going to end up still 2 laps down. Remember, she came to pit road before that caution came out, and, well, so far she's never recovered, in my opinion. Yeah, Abigail Lynn's going to really take a hit in the point standings, 5th in the points, so that's too bad. 2 laps to go for Hanako Watanabe. White flag was just displayed over the 14. And here we go off of turn number 4. Hanako Watanabe will get the 14 to victory lane, first win of the season for Hanako Watanabe. She takes the Circuit City 250. Excellent run for Hanako Watanabe. And talk about a driver who needed a good run, 31st in points. That is exactly what the doctor ordered. Naomi Hudson will stay in the top 10 of the points with a second place result. Tina Turner, great run for her in third. She was 10th in points. That's going to keep her in the top 10 of the points leaving today. Aurora comes away with fourth, 15th on the point standing. She'll stay inside she'll go in the top 10 of the points leaving today. Emma Kaiser gets her first career top 5 in the Truck Series with 5th, so team owner Frank's got to be delighted about that. Olivia Jackson will get 6th. Great run for Olivia. Haven't talked much about Olivia much this season. I apologize to her. This is a well-needed run for her. Claudia Flores will get 7th. Olivia Jackson 33rd in the points. This is a big help for her. Flores was, let's see where Claudia Flores came in this race in points. 9th in the standings, so she'll stay in the top 10 of the points leaving today. April Glover will get 8th. Good run for April Glover. Ruby White will get 921st in the point standings, so this is a nice bounce back run for her. And Eva Mata will complete the top 10. Came as race 12th in the point standings. This will definitely put her in the top 10 in the points after tonight's race. Top 15 was completed by Ingrid Pollard, Jayla Durazin, Hazel Eveline, Alex Winters, and Jessica Smith. Addison Peterson, Giovanna Wright, Abigail Furling, last week's winner, Chow Ding, and Ruby White complete the top 20. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, a lot of big names who were running well in points. Abigail Lynn, 5th in points, going to take a hit. Maisie Creighton came as race 3rd in the point standings, going to take a hit. I also failed to mention Hazel Eveling came as race 2nd in points. As we had Abigail Lynn, the last truck on the lead lap. Alexandria Starnes, who did finish after her DNF last week. Elena Lydia and Samantha Johnson were involved. Those two, Samantha Johnson never recovered after a spin on the early stage of the race, had to come to pit road, make some repairs, never recovered. And then out of the race was Calip Ambrosia, who did lead a good part of this race. And then Balam Kim, Olga Scott, Kathy Rogers, Aaron Walsh, Ada Chua, Victoria Hughes, and Kim Patterson all failed to finish the race after they were involved in the second caution of today's race. As I'm checking to make sure I did save it, and I did indeed save it. So that's cool. As for Hazel Eveling, the gal that she was trying to run down for the points lead, Carolina Bradley, finished in 22nd. So looks like Hazel Eveling will take the points lead back heading into our next race in 2 weeks at South Boston. Hope you enjoyed this evening's race from Richmond. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCS Race Crew today. We've shown your full finished results. You will see your point standings in our next race in 2 weeks at South Boston Speedway. We got to finish up this race weekend with the Diva Bush and Diva Cup from Richmond. Before next week, it's just Diva Cup Series from Arizona Speedway. Hope you'll tune in for that. Until then, I've been Dean DeVoe signing off. Good night from Richmond International Raceways. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of PCS Rate TV, the best center racing since 2017.